Babu. Press Alt to pause the clat and point in message to delete it. Otherwise, take no action. Whatever. Otherwise, no action needed. Live chat. There we go. Oh, oh my ass. Hey, Fowler. Infamous Fowler has arrived. Oh, two people in climbing. Three, maybe. Don't know. Oh, I already said that. Oh, I'm going to give it a little bit of time here, and then I'm going to talk about a very long and horrible trip I'm probably making a mistake out of by going to Georgia. There's my track record for doing such places as such things has not been good and has actually gone downhill. So this may be a very large and ill-advised, expensive mistake. The shirtless dude? I don't know if it's the shirtless dude. It's my brother's band. It's not my brother. They're called the Pullout Kings because, as he said, they all have children. He said it's some famous guy. I don't know who it is. I don't know. I think there's some kind of progressive punk or something. Not entirely sure. Well, Georgia's probably not going to be much better. It's going to be hot. I can guarantee that. Oh, this all we're going to get? Named Jorg. My brother knows who it is. But, I don't know who it is. I'm not going to text him, though. You can watch me check my Instagram here for a minute. Oh, 3 comments. Let's see. Oh, nothing. Saw 3 clickbait. Well, that's what thumbnails are all about, right? Thumbnails are all about clickbait. Yes, that's probably the only way I'll be coming home at that point, or at least going to Tennessee. Might be murder. That's a thing I used to post. This is for the murder thing. Is my buddy Ken. What you got? Well, I got a whole bunch of Rebel stuff that I painted up. Pretty much anything I've been posting up that's gotten done lately, I will be selling. I'm going to cover this anyways, but I'm actually, I have an Infinite that was unfortunately returned to me due to tariffs and fees that were stuck onto the blaster. So the Infinite that I gave away is coming back. I'm debating whether or not to raffle it off for my own personal gain, but I don't have like the information on the drawing anymore. So I think I'm probably gonna auction it off for my own personal gain. But it's not to say that I don't have a charity thing this year, which I do. It's just not at my table, and no, it is not pictures, because I did 3 massive pictures last year, and I think I got $20. Of course, last year, from what I heard about giveaways and stuff, like everybody had a giveaway and things like. I had a plan to fix that this year, but I didn't ask about it because everything was moving, and I figure if it comes up again, if a second year tracks and it's bad, I'll do it again. All I could ever remember is that Prickly got one of them. Prickly got the Frankenstein, which was my absolute favorite. Which one did you get, Homely? I don't remember. Someone tells me you probably took the zombie. Oddly enough, Wolfman, cool. Oddly enough, Austin, the pictures usually go It depends. Like something at that level, I probably would let it go for about $50. Jill in Naptown actually picked up a picture from me for an undisclosed amount, which was pretty much funded my entire trip down, but not back. Just gave me the money to get down there, which was good. And that was something I worked on for wow. Well, I started out a long time ago, and then ended up picking it back up and redoing it. Thank you. Well, you actually have one of my. You have a picture from the archives. That was absolutely one of my absolute favorite things I ever drew, which was really cool. And I actually had to repair that a little bit because the picture and ink had faded. So when I redid it. They didn't redo it. I just touched it up, and it turned out much better. But there's actually somebody did something like that. It was a joke. They took like a water ball or something and put it on an empty pedestal in a museum, and then about a week or so later, there was a little glass case around it. I mean, there's nothing to stop you from literally like sneaking a picture into a museum. I'm not exactly sure what kind of trouble you would get into, but I'm pretty sure you could sneak something into a museum and hang it. It would just be funny. For some reason, my eyes are not focusing again. I think they're just exhausted or tired or something. There we go. And I have hot sauce on my fingers. That was bright to get. Yeah. Well, don't get me started on how the art world determines its prices and stuff like that. It's utterly bullshit. But since I have most people, 3 people here, uh, we're going to go over the. You have Hot Wheels PS. Yeah, I seriously do. And I have to go looking for a particular Hot Wheel, though. I can't say what type it is because if the video gets watched, they'll instantly know what I'm planning. So I have to get a particular type of Hot Wheel. So End War. I have to make a timestamp here as to when the End War thing actually starts so people can figure it out here. So, Craft Cramp, not cool. So, your Uncle Clownie is going to end war this year. Uncle Clownie is also going to be at FoamCon this year. And I am making what is essentially 12-hour trip cut in half with the one and only Pirate Johnson, which is probably ill-advised to be trapped in a car with that guy for about 6 hours. Because we're going to be meeting up somewhere in amongst, I think it's Tennessee or something like that. I have to double check my phone to make sure exactly know what town. And then, hey, Rival League Joker, cool. You're just in time to hear me talk about End War Trip. So, yes, I will be at FoamCon, and if you wish to meet Pirate Johnson or throw something in his face, he will be most likely at my table with me because the purposes of going down to FoamCon, he will be my minion because I need someone to help me schlep stuff back and forth and around, and I'm pretty sure, Fowler, you can attest to see because you saw me with the little go-kart wagon. You know exactly what the heck I'm getting. Hey, Tactical, you saw what the heck I brought last year, and it's going to be something along the same lines with the bucker boards and all that stuff to set out. So, what is Uncle Clownie doing at FoamCon? Well, I don't have my own particular charity this year. I'm not going to be doing pictures like I did before in the past. I'm not. I may or may not be doing a giveaway. I haven't completely decided whether or not, but I probably will. So there's a good chance I'll be doing that. If I do, it'll be an Infinite. But like I said, I am not running a particular charity this year. I got tied into doing a charity with a couple other people that went to Women of Nerf, and I'll get into that in a moment. So my booth essentially, or should I say most likely half booth, because it's going to be most likely half because I'm not big enough to get a whole booth. We'll have a display of stuff that I have made, most likely like some of the stuff I did last year. I have to remember what I brought so I can try to bring something else. And then, of course, the cannon, because everybody loves the cannon. I'll have that. And I'll I'm going to have a selection of blasters for sale, mostly, if not entirely, completely, because they are Springers, painted up and ready to go. I will have patches. I will also have my supply of metal patches. They are made from aluminum cans of various beers and energy drinks and things like that. Uh, they're yeah, they're fun to do. They're fun to make. I have to go pick up some Velcro to finish them off so you can have them. I'll be making those. I'm also going to be repped in with my buddy Griever is going to have stuff on display at my booth once again because me and Griever are pretty much like inseparable at this point for nerfing stuff. He's like my nerfing brother. The first guy that got me really doing the stuff, and the only guy I talked to at the first war I ever went to was Griever. The guy didn't immediately dismiss me as some psychotic little fat noob, which was exactly what I was. But we ended up having him as stuff, and then I'm also going to be doing repping for the Blair County House of Nerf, or Pennsylvania Thunderdome, ran by my buddy Joshua France of France's Foamworks, who was kind enough to. He's going to be, hey, 8-bit friend, how you doing? He's going to be giving me patches. I have right now 2 types of patches, all for sale, and there's going to be possibly some stuff that he made. I have a bunch of his foam knives. I have to finish getting them up and ready to go, and then I'm also going to have maybe some keychains and things that he has, because he's going to this Sci-Fi Valley Con, so whatever he doesn't manage to sell there is going to come my way. So I'm going to be able to rep that stuff and sell it down there with him, and hopefully, if I remember, I'm going to pack some of the examples of his work to bring it down, because I have a couple of his blasters, although they are not new. But I do need to figure out exactly how to get all the space, and the premiere of my banner will be down there for the first time, which is great. I actually have a professional banner, although I'm almost out of business cards, and I probably can't get those done. But I should have a couple of blasters and stuff up for sale, and some foam knives and things like that, because they went over real well along with the usual patches and things. The well, sneezing with that is going to be a problem, huh? So, let's see what's next. Foam End War itself. I actually have absolutely no wish to attend End War at all whatsoever. But Pirate Johnson and the rest of the guys like Homely, and then we're all going to be going down and stuff. So I don't want to play it. It's down to I tried to play 2 years in a row. The first year put me in the hospital. The second year, everything went to hell. And being off work for an entire year, sitting on my ass doing nothing, I have lost all will to move and pretty much damn fly around here. I just I can't. I've gotten too fat, too weak, too old, and I don't have any tolerance for it anymore. It's just not been good, and so I'm not going to be playing. I guess the short of that would have been health reasons, but I do plan on going around and filming, mostly doing my own kind of thing, which is kind of talking to people and seeing what's going on, and different zombies and stuff, and see people to talk to and have some fun with that instead. That's the major plan. Just interview and make a big montage for that. And I probably won't have any war footage unless somebody's willing to truck me to wherever the final stand and stuff is going to be, because I'm not going to walk there. It's just not going to happen. I get winded taking a crap sometimes, but I mean, I'm a guy. That's completely possible. I am also absolutely no interest in the competitive Nerf stuff that's going to be happening the next day. I do want to go see and watch it, because I think it'll be fun to sit there and watch, just to see. I say I could see it, but I have no wish to compete, because I don't have any real interest in the competitive Nerf stuff. And that's going to be a video all by itself, because I have a very strong opinion on that, about what it's going to do to our hobby, especially if something breaks out and we end up getting short darts from Hasbro. But that's later on. I'll probably rant on that once or twice. and then the next day I'll be coming home with the 12-hour trip. Mostly I'll meet Pirate Johnson for my car if it's still wherever we decide to leave it. Hopefully, if it's still there, and I'll be driving home and probably burying my head in the sand for the next 2 or 3 days until I finally use this trip to get my last hurrah because money's running out and I just get myself together. So this will be what that is because I'm planning on when I come back to reenact my Uber stuff and finally start picking up the Uber drivers. Even if it's just off and on, it will work out pretty good. So to touch back on the fact that what I was talking about with the charity build, Women of Nerf have contacted me. I tried to do something with them earlier, but they had their plates full, so it didn't work out. But they contacted me and asked me to build a blaster. They asked a couple other people to build a blaster. Once again, I don't remember what the hell the charity was. It was something and Special Olympics of the area, which is always well. Yeah, how did they put it on Family Guy? That's the best way I can put it, I guess. Watch people describe it as God's great plan, and they have a cheap laugh. And maybe we'll all be going to hell at the end of the day, But I couldn't figure out what to make with this, so I was kind of stuck. And then when I did figure out what I was going to make, I ended up not having the blaster because I sold it like 2 weeks before. To be the Borat of the war. Very nice. I play Nerf. Yeah, I play. Oh, bye, Fowler. Probably completely missed that, but no timestamp. So I decided that I knew what I was going to do, and then I couldn't decide on a theme to do it and then I heard it was going to be utterly difficult. And what I ended up doing in the long run was the blaster I thought I did, and I made, because the theme this year, if everybody missed it, was the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, which unfortunately, watching your mod video, I gotta finish that thing. Was the Wizarding World of Harry Potter was the plan for this year, so I opted to go with one of the Rebel blasters, and I put a little window, and that upsets me, but there's nothing I can do about that. I put a window on the side of the thing and left the red clear on this one, and the black in it because the pink looks strange on there. And yeah, this was so you can actually label your blaster with your name on it, and a nice place. Hopefully, somebody that gets that when the raffle will figure it out. But it's the magazine for it, and you probably recognize exactly what it's going to be. I made a House Slytherin. It's a little choppy because it's hand painted, but it washes up much better when you're not staring right down the direction of it. I do wish I would have cut out the little holes here in the center, but I did a golden brass brush on here, and then found a green that doesn't match, but it's close enough to make it look like it's better than a match because the color is a little off of it, which it makes it look cool. Yeah, you haven't seen everything yet, Rivalry Joker. The emblem on the end is done in the same red. It's powered by Michelle 2.0s. So it's a 2S blaster. It uses worker flywheels because I had worker flywheels and I wasn't ordering stuff. It has a 15 amp switch. A 10 amp switch. I wish I had a 15, but I actually melted a switch in the thing and most of the wiring inside of it when I tried to hook the battery up, because I hooked the two leads in straight this way and then ran them both in parallel back to the switch. So every time you plugged it in, it would start, and then you pressed it, it would override the switch because the switch wasn't doing anything. It was just trying to cut power, but there was no way to make it actually cut power. So I actually ended up melting most of the wiring inside. Look, I didn't blow the lipo, and then I had to look to rewire it, and then I had to rewire it again because apparently I completely choked. I couldn't figure out how to wire the thing. So, the nice thing about being, I'm not a big Harry Potter fan either, but But the nice thing about it being a 2S is because these things have a notoriously small battery tray, like psychotically small battery tray. Like it's only this dimension by the same dimension by that dimension. It is a small ass battery, and wiring one of these things is a nightmare. Like stripes have lots of room, and there's like you have to tuck the the thing. I have a 2S lipo, but my 2S's are on they're on HT60 connectors or on Dean's connectors because where I went to buy my batteries originally, they didn't have any more XT60s. They only had Dean's. So I have my first two other blasters and my two small lipos are on Dean's, which actually worked out because the two that I have that I use them in are cramped. The first End War blaster and the other one is my Hurricane, and there isn't a lot of space left in there. And when I tried to figure out if I could get an XT60 in there, it wasn't going to work. So I'm glad I had a Dean's connector on that because they're much smaller. Although I'm not sure what the amperage and stuff they'll take, but the battery is tiny and low. It's like 6 volts or something like that. It's not a real heavy running battery. Harry Potter's, I'll be disappointed. We could be like Drac and get nailed the first day by Boba Lobo. He goes out to his car and gets pegged. He had his back turned. But like I said, like Pirate said, and I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Harry Potter. However, there is one part of Harry Potter I really did like. Because now Harry Potter's a pissy wizard, but the thing I liked about him was the Death Eaters. Because the Death Eaters are awesome. So on the other side, as you can see, also because it's House Slytherin, I hand painted a Death Eater on Death Eater symbol on here, which was just really, really fun. So now I just wish that was on the other side because this is the non-hero side with all the holes in it. Yeah, Rapid Reds suck, flat out suck. I'll probably never be doing one of these again, so this will be the only one like this. And God, Joker Mort, that will be great. Though we can't use masks, unfortunately, unless you're going to West. So this will be up on the chopping block at the Women of Nerf for whatever charity and stuff that they're running. I don't care about the whatever the heck they are. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Lord of the Rings either, honestly. It was cool, but it's like it's still a better love story than Twilight, you know. But this thing is awesome. I love it. It's ergonomics, of course, because it's great. But that's the End War announcement. So if any of you here were just for that, you can go away now. This Switch was a dick. I hated that. I was literally working on this thing like all day trying to get it to work, and I had to keep cutting more and more and get it back in the position after I rewired everything. So, and it kept getting stuck up in here for some reason. So I literally just took a spring and jammed it over the tiny little nub that is a switch because you have to take the bar off, and it fits. And it was just enough to keep it from going all the way back. So it's not super touchy, but it's nice and responsive. One that fires darts. The small air tank. You could use a Panther tank or like second gen Panther tank with a small one there. Coupler it to a secondary pump mechanism. OC Nerf, how you doing? Oh, you're just in time. Josh, how you doing? See you there. See, Josh was actually Joshua France in the thing over here. He's the guy he's the guy who printed up the cage for this thing in here, a 42 millimeter crushed cage. And I wish I could show his print quality better, but his print quality it's gorgeous. It's absolutely great. I love this thing. This will be a lot of fun. Hopefully, it will fetch know the most out of all the charities that are out there, or at least be the first one that somebody wants to get their hands on, which is even better. But that's pretty much what I had planned as far as that go. I'm going to End War and all that stuff. So anybody that's not interested in any more announcements beyond that, I am going to. I'm not going, but I'm going to work on something else now. Dang it! What was I going to work on now? Now I don't remember. What does he say to me? Such a weird mix of smooth and angular. It's they people like them. I just like these because they're smooth. I like them because they're smooth. The reason I like them is because they're you can do like I could never get this on a Strife unless I put it on the battery door. That's it. I have that crappy prime on the Marvel Blaster Gauntlet thing. And we're now coming to Armageddon. I would love to come to Armageddon. I would love to. I'm actually more intent on going to Ragfest, but technically California, and there goes the clear coat. California is a 3-day trip. 3 days if you don't stop. It's one side to the other, nonstop. I can make it to California, so I could probably do it in. I can't do it. I can't do 3 days straight driving. I'm an old man. That won't happen anymore. But I definitely could make it there in probably less than a week, quite easily. But I'm, like I said, I'm more interested in Ragnarok Oktoberfest than going all the way out for NIC War because, well, I go to APOC anyways, so I go to APOC once a year. But I would love to make it out for Rag. It'd be great because I get to hang out with Nerm and other guys like that. I don't get to see very often. This is going to be the part of the other blaster, and I may put this. I may put this guy up for sale. I actually plan on building another one, but I have to get this body work done so I can work on knives, so I can pull a 2-night all-nighter. I was thinking more along the lines of a blaster that had a wee self-contained spring or just bigger spring. Well, they made you could inline a jolt. There is a way to inline a jolt. I don't remember how you do it, but you could bury that in a cosmetic quite easily. It'd be pretty good. Why do I still have this out? I don't need this no more. I don't need that anymore. Okay. So, 11 for fun. Let's see the blades. Ha! Blades are still sitting in the form that you gave them to me, bro. Bruh. They're still sitting in that form. I have not done anything else to them, but this is going to stall because I broke the cylinder by modding it. So unless for some reason that cylinder decides to magically work, I am dependent on somebody getting... Yeah, Clownie, how much? Good, my guy. Not much working on this stuff. Made an End More announcement because, like Aragon says, one just does not simply, it's true. You don't just simply go to End War. You have to make a big video about it and stuff. I'm not doing that. I just made an announcement for like 20 minutes straight. So, okay, this is all putty. And I'm going to have to knock some of this down. Good evening, Algie. So, I'd like to try my new blade. I picked this one up. It's so pretty. I picked it up. It's a cheap one, and I can already do this and see the sparkly coming off of my fingers. I'm hoping this is similar to the one that I wore out. So it's going to just chew through plastic. So I'll pull the angle at the end of something like the Defend Blaster. Strike and defend. Oh, I remember you. I need the big one, though. Where's the... Oh, glue. No. I'm actually running out of super glue. Oh, no, I'm supposed to keep fingers apart if I run out of super glue. So, it's hard to... With this whole stuff out the fire sometimes I usually end up finding a container. I'm gonna try to make rag